So today I'm wearing amber, and the reason I'm wearing amber is because I'm going to be talking about monitoring, and specifically something that the new CEO of Starbucks has done for about 6 months and how important it is in regards to becoming a future leader of that organization. But before I tell you about that, let me tell you quickly about the colors. So we've got the 3 green behaviors: thinking, communicating, and improving. Those are the things, if you have them in your calendar in the right proportion, will take you, your people, and your organization upwards, make things better, because they're the essence of leading, and that's partly what leaders have to do. Then there's the amber behaviors, just 2 of those: monitoring and directing. Now, those are the things that keep things in balance, manage risk, stop things from going backwards, because they are the essence of managing. Then there's red, doing, that's productivity, and grey, floating, that's waste or potential waste. And if you have those in your calendar too much, it can actually take time away from the green and the amber stuff. So it actually can have the effect of taking you backwards. And then lastly, there's blue, and blue is about living. That's looking after your physical, mental, spiritual, and emotional well-being. About looking after yourself outside of work so that you can bring the best of yourself to your work and to your friends and family. So if you look in the Human Times recently, there's been a report about the CEO of Starbucks, who in the first 6 months of their role decided to go and visit and work in a number of the departments within Starbucks, including shops. And they've even gone so far as to enroll in the barista course so that they can understand how to do that. And now they've done that, they've committed on an ongoing basis to spend half a day every month in a Starbucks outlet working. Now, this is an interesting one, because someone might ask the question, well, why are you doing that? And if you look at each of the colours within the diary detox method, you might be able to look at this in a number of different ways. Some people might look at it and go, well, that's a complete waste of time. Why is the CEO learning to be a barista, and why are they going to work in the shop? They could see it as grey. Some might see it as, well, they're kind of doing what Starbucks does. They're kind of being productive, they're serving customers, which actually sounds quite red, quite doing. Why might they do that? And lastly, some might turn around and say, well, to a certain extent, they're learning more about how to be a barista and things like that. So maybe it's quite green, it's improving. But actually, I don't believe it's any of those things. I think it's the one that we haven't spoken about, other than the blue one, of course. I think it's amber. It's monitoring. This is about checking to make sure that things are okay. And it's interesting to put this into context. If you think about the mix of colour that someone might ideally want in their role, I always say that they're aspirational and they're situational. They're aspirational in terms of the percentage you would want of each is kind of an end game. It's kind of an ideal. May not be there right now, but that's what you want to get to at the end of the day. And for a CEO, the aspirational end game is to have 70% of their time green and about 20% of their time amber, with only 10% red. But here's the thing. In order to be green, which is looking at vision, strategy, where you're going, long-term plan, you can't do that unless you know where you are right now. And so what I always say is that if you are a new manager coming into a new area, or a new CEO, new executive director coming into an area, although the end game might be to have quite a lot of green in your calendar aspirationally in the future, you can't really do that unless you spend a certain amount of your time with a high proportion of amber stuff at the beginning. You're going in and you're checking, you're making sure people are happy, the culture's working, things are working, people have access to the things they have, and you never really know that until you actually do it yourself. So whilst you could look at those things that CEO is doing and put them in a number of different colours, it's a really important colour, amber. Checking to make sure that things are as they should be, because only then will you have any ability to create a long-term plan and create a strategy for how you're going to get there. Really interested to see your thoughts below and whether you agree with me. You might say, this is rubbish, Paul. If so, let me know. I'd love to talk about it. In the meantime, have a great day. Have a great week.